everybody, it's Leslie from WeLoveJones.com and We Love Jones here on YouTube, and I'm coming to you today with a quick video on being a vegan in the rural USA. So if you're not familiar with, if you're new to this channel, you may not know that I live in Mississippi, and I thought I would make a video helping fellow vegans that live in the middle of the United States, where there are very few large cities. So when I first became vegan, I happened to live in Los Angeles, where there are vegan restaurants, raw vegan restaurants, fast food vegan restaurants. There's vegan restaurants all over that place. And certainly restaurants that maybe aren't vegan but cater to vegans either have a secret menu or an explicit sub menu that is vegan and offer vegan options. So that does not exist here, at least not overtly. So, and I live in a small teen town. So I thought, I've been vegan in the rural South now for several years, and I've picked up a few tips, tricks, and just resources and things that have worked for us. So I hope this video finds you well and that you find it helpful if you also happen to live out in the middle of nowhere like us and are vegan, or if some of these tips will work for you as well if you are a vegetarian, or if you just have a meatless Monday kind of a system, but you love meat but you have a meatless Monday, or go meatless once or twice a week. So you'll still find these tips helpful. So tip number one is get to know your grocer. So for us, really only Kroger, sometimes Walmart, but Walmart's a big company. So for us, really only Kroger is the grocery store that we can really rely on for good produce, and not the best prices on produce, but decent produce, a variety of produce, and kind of the more processed-y kind of foods that we need, like, well, not processed, but like nutritional yeast. You're not going to find nutritional yeast at a Piggly Wiggly. You're just not. But a Kroger is going to carry it because they're a big national chain, and Kroger's seem to be going through revamping where they're having a more robust health food aisle. So anyway, in small towns, you can get to know your grocer, know the manager's name, the managers on the different shifts, and most of the time, if I just tell him, hey, I want to make this recipe, can you stock such and such produce or such and such ingredient, they'll carry it for a while. They may not carry it forever, because if other people don't also purchase it, they won't. For example, I asked for turmeric root because we wanted to put turmeric root in faux bone broth that I was making, and smoothies. We like to put fresh turmeric root in smoothies because of its anti-inflammatory benefits. And he carried it for a while. He didn't carry it forever, but he carried it for a while. And so anyway, that's getting to your grocer and having a relationship with them. If they see your face often, they will be invested in keeping you happy. So tip number two is use those off the beat stores. So what I mean by that is, for example, 30 minutes away is one of the larger towns. It's like a university town, and there's a small Asian market there, and I know I can get things like baby bok choy, or the good curry, or just ingredients like tamarind paste. If I'm going to make masaman curry, I can get tamarind paste there. I can get good quality sushi rice there, and we make cucumber sushi or avocado sushi every now and then, and especially in the summer. And so yeah, or the paper that you need to make like spring rolls, the rice paper. So stuff like that, I can get it there, and so I just make a point of stopping by whenever I happen to be in that town. So I don't make special trips out there unless I have to, but if I'm there, I'll take advantage and check it out. Then there's also a small grocery stores, like a small Mexican grocery store in town. There's two actually, but I tend to only go to the one. And that's where I can get ingredients that Kroger doesn't carry. And I happen to be Mexican, so there's ingredients there that sometimes I need to make something, and I can only get it there. And because those are small businesses, they're really interested in knowing what you're going to buy because they'd like to stock the things you're going to come back for. So this kind of ties back to tip number 1 is know your grocers. And support those small mom and pop grocery stores, those small and pop specialty shops. They're great, and they tend to be really amenable to the vegans. So, all right. So tip number 3 is don't. So the temptation is going to be if you move to rural USA is to shop a lot online, and we certainly are guilty of that. But what we've learned is stick to one online source. Don't be buying online for those odd ingredients that you need to veganize the recipe. Don't be buying those ingredients from multiple places because there's Thrive Market, there's Brandless, there's Amazon, of course. There's just so many great providers of healthy foods out there that, there's just you know what, earlier on when I was going through tip number 2, I forgot to mention health food stores, including Muscle Max and places like that. They often have vegan friendly things in those stores. So small mom and pop places and local health food stores will sometimes have things that you need to veganize a recipe. I'm sorry, back to tip number 3. I'm all over the place today. So for us, we really have found that using Amazon is because we can accrue Amazon points on my husband's American Express card. We just decided because we're going to get, say, $30 every other month or so free back on Amex points to that we can spend on Amazon. So rather than buying something from Thrive Market and then going to Amazon, we just wait until we get Amex points back and just shop from Amazon. But it doesn't matter. Like, just stick to one online provider for the things that you need. For example, if you choose to go with Thrive, who, by the way, I think not Thrive, Vitacost. So Thrive is a great resource. Vitacost, another online provider of health food items, they happen to be owned by Kroger, and they have an affiliate program. And so, like, if you refer people to their website, you can get like money back or something. I forget how their affiliate program works. Like, I could never do it because I already have a reliable source for these things through Amazon, and I have a whole system. But if you bought vegan items from processed vegan items from a myriad of different stores, online stores, you wouldn't be benefiting from any cashback incentives they have, or, so we tend to stick to Kroger in town for the most part for 90% of our shopping because we can get fuel points. We tend to stick to Amazon because whenever we spend money on the American Express card, whenever we pay bills, we get Amazon points, and we can use those points to buy the things that Kroger didn't carry. And so, so don't spread yourself thin because you'll never accrue enough points for you to be incentivized to go back to that provider. So just pick somebody you like and stick with them. Tip number 4, farmers markets. In the same way that you get to know your grocers, get to know your local farms. And in rural USA, you can really get to know your farmers. Some of them are you're going to see them at church. So at farmers markets is great because you get to know what's in season. You get to know what the growing season was like. And that's something I didn't know before. But knowing what the growing season is like, was like that year locally is really informative because maybe I don't want to make collard greens this year, or maybe I do because the collard greens just grew like crazy this year. So knowing your local farmers, going to farmers markets are great ways to get ingredients, especially fresh ingredients for your meal planning week to week. Tip number 5 is farmer co-ops. So I know it's similar to farmers markets, but a farmers market, you have to go to it. Whereas a co-op, farmer's co-op, sometimes they'll just ship you the box of produce of things that they grew. So I'll link resources down below, but it's a great way to get, so here in the South, there are some things that you just can't get at the grocery store, but the farmer's co-op, I think, will have it because we've asked for it. So you get to say what would you like to be grown that season, and then you get because you paid up front, you get a say in what those farmers grow, and then you get a cut of whatever the yield is that year. And so that's what a co-op is. You pay into the co-op, you have a say in what they grow. They control a lot of it, of course, because they're the experts on what grows locally, what is possible to grow in this area in this season. But then you reap the reward of getting something fresh as soon as it's harvested. And sometimes, so I don't have I don't have a whole lot of control about what I'm going to get in that box, but it's going to be stuff that grows well in this region that was grown with care, and by people who not just know what they're doing, but are passionate about providing great produce to the people of the co-op. So co-ops are great. If you don't participate in one, you should. And tip number 6 is you must meal plan. You cannot, in Los Angeles, I could get away with not having a meal planning system down because I didn't have kids then, and I didn't, and if I messed up, then we could go eat out because there were vegan restaurants, one of which was within walking distance of where we lived. That is no longer the case. Or we happen to live within walking distance of a Whole Foods, a Trader Joe's, and 2 vegan restaurants that I could name off the top of my head. So I didn't have to meal plan because if I messed up and I didn't have a solid meal plan, I could just walk and find a solution to our problem. That is not the case here. This is not a pedestrian. The middle USA, the middle of the country, they're not super pedestrian friendly here. So I just live out in the middle of nowhere, and I couldn't just solve the problem. So you have to meal plan. If you're not good at it, you need to get good at it really, really fast, because you're going to be frustrated. Especially, actually, even if you lived in a metropolis, you have to meal plan, because when you're vegan, you eat a lot of produce. You just do. You eat a lot of produce. And because that's where a lot of the flavor for the meals comes from, is from produce. And so if you don't meal plan, you're not going to use the produce you bought efficiently and before it goes bad. So you have to meal plan. So I have a video up showing you my meal plan system. So there's that. If that's my system, might be something that works for you. But if it doesn't, find someone else's system that you think might work for you and plagiarize it, because that's what I did. I kind of took ideas that I had learned from YouTube mamas, and then I just tweaked it and made it work for me. So, and I went through a lot of trial and error. So sometimes you try a meal planning system and it doesn't work for you, and you tweak it, and then you try it, you tweak, you try and tweak. It's all trial and error. So don't feel frustrated if you're just like, I just can't do it like these people. You need to find what works for you, because it's your rhythm, it's your family's rhythm that you're trying to fit into. So, along with meal planning, tip number 7 is have a backup plan. So we have 2 backup plans. One is a Hot Pocket, and the other one is a frozen pizza. So Kroger does now carry Daya brand and Amy's Kitchen brands of frozen vegan pizzas. It's not a lot of variety, but they do carry it. So if I burn dinner, which has happened occasionally, if you burn dinner, or what has happened in the past, or I tried a new recipe and it stunk, but there's no way to really know until you try and make it, or I messed it up or whatever. So there are certain situations that come up, or I have a migraine that day and we were supposed to go grocery shopping to have dinner that night, but I just couldn't make it happen, and I needed him to help me at home, and so groceries didn't get bought, and so he'll go real quick and get a frozen pizza and come back. So have a backup plan. So that's our backup plan. It's not a very sophisticated backup plan, but whatever works for your family, have a backup plan. You can't be vegan in the USA, in the middle of the country, and not have a backup plan. Maybe your backup plan is a salad, and you have your go-to salad, and you live close enough to a grocery store where it's not inconvenient to throw that together. Have a plan. have a backup plan. So, you know, I have other options for if I burn dinner and stuff. So I might do a pizza and a salad so that it feels more like a meal and there's leftovers. And yeah. So anyway, last tip. I think we're up to number 8. We're up to 8. Tip number 8. Take advantage of when you travel. So what I've learned is that people really kind of leave town a lot because there's not a lot of entertainment here. So they go out of town to go to a concert. They go out of town to visit family because not everyone lives near you. They go out of town to for games. Football is a big thing here. So we too have, to some extent, embrace traveling. For example, we recently wanted to go to the closest Target is an hour away, and the closest IKEA is almost 3 hours away. 3 hours away. So we wanted to go to IKEA. We went to IKEA. We ate at a vegan restaurant that happened to be in Memphis, which is where our closest IKEA is. And know the town you're going to. So when you do travel, whether it's local or not, take advantage that you're in a larger town or that you're just in a different town and check out their grocery store because they might have that odd ingredient that you couldn't get somewhere else. So you can get locally where you live. So take advantage of when you travel. It's been so helpful. Here in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi, which is the capital and also I think the largest city here, there is Rainbow Co-op, and it's a co-op grocery store, and they have excellent vegan products there. They cater to the health food community. And so if we go to Jackson, which is several hours away from where we live, you bet I'm going to stop at Rainbow Co-op and shop there. If we go to Tuscaloosa, which is across the border over in Alabama, I'm going to stop at a grocery store usually, unless the kids are just going crazy and you can't really stop. But if it's just me and my husband, we'll stop somewhere and we'll check out their grocery store. Yeah, so, and likewise, take advantage, bonus tip number 9, if you know somebody is going to a larger town near you, ask them to pick something up for you that you know you are going to need in the future. This is great for those pantry items that you may not be able to get locally. So I hope these tips are helpful to you. I hope these tips find you well. If you did find this helpful, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find this content here on YouTube. And if you're new to this channel, you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. I would love to have you part of the We Love Jones family. And please follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All of those links can be found down below in the description box. Thanks everybody for stopping by.